Hey, everybody. Adam here, the Roof Strategist, and welcome to today's Lunchtime Live. I'm so glad to have you here. And this is another video recommended by Zach and Chris. And this is a common objection that I keep hearing people running into at the door when you get denied, saying, hey, we already had a roofer look at it, or we already had a contractor look at it. So what I'm going to teach you today is a variety of different ways to overcome this objection at the door with real life stories, because there's one thing I know that works really well. It's sharing stories with your prospects, because instead of just educating them on the bland, boring facts about roofing shingles, which frankly aren't the sexiest thing in the world, when you can engage your prospects at the door with true to life stories, one, it's believable. Two, it's entertaining. And three, you keep their attention and it's very easy to overcome. So Marty, welcome. You are very welcome. Marty says, hey, Adam, thanks for all your help. Glad to have you here, man. Glad to see you joining the chat. So I'm gonna read this. This message from Zach. By the way, Zach replied, if anyone has any questions or videos that you want to suggest, drop a comment on the video, or you can join the insiders. There's a link in the description. You'll get instant access, by the way, to my brand new Pitch Like a Pro roofing sales training video library. It's 120 videos for storm and retail. You'll get instant access to it. And then this welcome email will prompt you to reply and fire off any videos you want to see. So that's how this one came in. So thanks, Zach. He says, hey, Adam, loving the content, new to the game, but not to sales. I'm having a really hard time overcoming the objection. We already had a contractor look at it and convincing the customer that I know what to look for, which might not have been the case with the other guy. Thanks for the help. So now, when I see multiple questions come through, that's what really makes me want to make these videos. So I get this other one from Chris. Now, I'm not going to read all Chris's email because it's a little bit longer, but what Chris did say is that he is asking a question and rephrasing it to say, have you inspected your roof yet? As opposed to, has anyone looked at it? So I'm going to talk about this in response to what Zach asked, to give you 3 tools to use. And I might be wrong. It might change because this is live to overcome this objection. So first, if you got my email, I share with you that I'm going to share a little story about how to use your hand. And I use this really engaging hand gesture to draw that customer into the dialogue and explain what we're looking for and what the other guy might have overlooked. I'm going to get to that next. But first, let's start with a couple of stories. First has nothing to do with roofing. This is a story that you can share about why you need second opinions. True story about my brother. And he bought a brand new house. Well, it wasn't new construction, but he bought a house and had a home inspector out there. So they do the inspection. Everything looks great. All the little items get addressed. On moving day, the day he's moving in, the big moving truck backs into the driveway. As the truck is idling in under an hour of being in the home, okay, in the front yard, beautiful landscaping, retaining walls, everything. The truck is idling. The retaining wall, as they're carrying the couch out of the moving truck, collapses. Okay, the retaining wall. As you know, landscaping and retaining walls are not cheap. Did it come up on the inspection? No, it did not. Not even a comment, nothing. Turns out all the drainage on the retaining wall wasn't done properly. And I guess the weight of the truck in the driveway, the vibration, who knows, it was a fluke, but the wall collapsed. So the reason I share this story is that, yeah, someone looked at it, but it happened on the day of moving as the truck is idling. Can you imagine like a worse moving story? It's not fun for anyone, okay? Second story for you goes right over to hail. We get softball size hail. Okay, massive, massive hail, blows out car windshields. I drive up to this customer's house. Customer has a ladder and he crawled up to inspect his roof. Now you guys know, if you get hail the size of a freaking softball, this big, like, is anything not going to be damaged? No. So the customer's got his roof set up, or excuse me, his ladder set up. He's crawling off his roof. I pull into his driveway and I do my little pitch and he says, I'm fine. I just looked at it. My roof is fine. And I'm looking around because I literally just signed someone up about a block down. It was a rural area. I said, man, I don't want to be insulting. I was just up on this other roof. I saw it. There was softball size hail. Windshields of cars were blown out. I think there's going to be damage. Let's hop up there and take a look together. Okay. So I led him up the ladder first. It was his ladder, by the way, from a liability standpoint. I climb up after him and he literally thought the roof was totally fine. So I'm sitting there and I'm pointing out what we're looking at. First, the collateral to make it jump out. Second, start looking at the shingles. And he says, holy smokes, you're right. My roof is smoked. So once he learned what to look for, he thought the roof was obliterated. Okay. So that's another story. Okay. The last one, we've all had this happen where an adjuster comes up, says, there's no damage. There's no damage to the roof. Your roof is fine. You call for a reinspection, they total the roof. These things happen. And it's important to share these stories with customers. So I'm going to tie in how you communicate this story to your customer to make it make sense from their standpoint of why they should get a second opinion. Okay, so here's how. One, you can use analogies outside of roofing. That's why I use the one of the retaining wall. Home inspector, brand new sale, moving trucks in, their retaining wall collapses. Would have been great to have a second opinion. Should have been caught. Could have been caught if someone actually looked at it, right? Second thing, when it comes to your own health, someone says you need knee surgery. Do you just say, great, sign me up? No, you go see someone else because you want a second opinion. Because one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to get validated and they're going to say, hey, great, you're right. You need knee surgery. Or they're going to say you don't. And then you're going to seek a third opinion. Okay. So you want to educate homeowners. It's always good to have a second opinion. Now, why? Because I'm going to hop up there. I'm going to take photos and videos and I will validate whether or not it was true. If it's true, I'm not going to waste your time. I can't help you if your roof is fine. If it's not, you're going to see the pictures and be the judge for yourself. And a great way to do this, Zach, thank you again for suggesting this, is to ask the homeowner, did the gentleman or the roofer, he or she, whoever it was, the roofer, the contractor, show you photographs? Because chances are, guys, they didn't. Because who would? Who's going to show up there and be like, I took pictures, the roof's fine. So ask that question, okay? So I'm going to put that up here as a key one. First is ask if they showed photos. Ask if they saw photos. Because chances are they didn't. So then you go up on the roof and say, listen, while I'm here, I'm going to hop up and I'm going to take some photo and video for you. And when I come down, I'm going to show you it. So you're either going to see for yourself that they're right. Now you get a second opinion, you're good to go. Or if there is damage, which I'm not sure if there is, there might be because I saw it on that house and this house. But if there is, I'm gonna explain your options and your next steps. It's that simple. You have everything to gain, nothing to lose. Okay. So ask the question, ask if they had those photos. I swear my handwriting is getting worse as we go on. So that's first thing. Second thing, share stories. Okay. You can share the story that someone that trained you, however you want to position me, literally hopped up on a roof with a homeowner who thought his roof was fine after softball-sized hail fell, okay? Now, I know many people watching who are working storms. I vividly remember the first roof that I ever inspected. I'm sitting there, I'm like this. I'm like, I see it on the box vents, crystal clear in a box vent, boom. Well, hail dings, you know that it's hail. You can see it. But on a shingle, it takes a trained eye to start to know what to look for, all right? So here's the part that I wanted to share with you, which is using your hand to educate people. Because here's the thing, guys. So we want to ask, okay, ask about photos. I know I just deleted this. I'm making a short list. Then after we ask about photos, we want to explain a story. Okay, show a story. You can say, hey, just like a doctor, you'd want a second opinion, or here's a story of why we got up on the roof. And then everything to gain, nothing to lose. Everything to gain. Okay. It's either going to validate or you're going to have a second opinion. All right. Now let's talk about how to draw people in, because everything that you learn on this channel is about education. Okay. I'm in the middle of reading a book right now. It was recommended by a friend of mine. It's called They Ask, You Answer. Great book, by the way, if anyone geeks out on listening to books while you're driving around. Ultimately, we are in an industry where customers inherently do not trust us. When we show up at someone's door, we are in a position of inherently not being trusted because they think we're there to sell them something. So it's important for us to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and to educate them, right? Educate, inform them so people feel confident and they trust you. When you do that, you'll win the business. That's why I take this approach, okay? Other people disagree. Other people are more forceful. They have different tactics because it closes the sale. That's great. You got to run with what works for you. But here, if you've been enjoying these videos, it's all based on educational sales, all right? So here's what you do. Say, Mr. or Mrs. Homeowner, I understand. This is how you address the objection head on. I understand that you already had a roofer look at it. Now, while I'm here, I would love the opportunity to just ask you a question. Did they take photos? Okay. And if the chances are going to say no, say, great. Here's what I can do for you. I'm going to hop up there. Don't ask. I'm going to hop up there and take some photos for you. Okay. And some video. And then I'll show you. It's either going to validate that your roof is fine or you're going to learn that it is damaged and there's options. Now, the reason that I would like to do this for you is because, and then we share the story, because I've personally been on a roof after softball size hail came down. Homeowner was crawling down himself, said, hey, there wasn't damage. And I went up there and I showed him what to look for, and he was blown away. He goes, oh my gosh, how did I not see that? Because it takes a trained eye. Okay, you want that. It takes a trained eye to spot what actual hail damage is. Trained eye, okay? That is important. To the naked eye, you're not going to see it. From the ground, you're not going to see it. And then you can share those stories. So ultimately, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, you have everything to gain, nothing to lose. I'm here, I'm not charging a thing. Then we go to that one-liner. If you guys haven't watched that video, it's my favorite one-line pitch to get on the roof, to land more inspections. Okay, you can watch that video. And it's, do you have any objection if I hop up on the roof right now, take some photo and video, show you what I find? Okay, remember, it's a negative agreement. Do you have any objection? That means when they say no, they're agreeing to it, because people's natural inclination to say no. I've had a lot of people reach out to me after that video, by the way, saying that that line works really well for them. I've watched it work. I've used it. I've trained lots of teams to use it. It's super powerful. So here's what we want to do. Hey, Dallas, glad to have you here as well. I like to explain to a homeowner that with this education side, why this is difficult on an untrained eye is to ask a question. Have you ever bitten into a peach? And on the outside of the peach, it looks perfectly fine. But then there's that soft, squishy or mealy spot inside, but you don't see it. That is kind of like how roofing shingles are. So this is that hand gesture piece. So I like to engage people in the sale. I don't want them to feel like I'm preaching to them. I don't want them to feel like I'm pitching to them. So I'd like to explain this peach thing, because a lot of people don't see how a peach can be similar to a shingle. But imagine my hand for a second is your shingle, your roof. Just like a peach, it's got some give to it, okay? And when hail strikes it, and you can see as I'm pushing, I want them to see this. See how it pushes in? Well, what happens is hail's gonna strike it and it's gonna bruise it kind of like a peach. And when that bruise or impact happens, those little granulated granules on top of the shingle get driven into the shingle, like a bruise of a peach. But what happens is now it is looser, okay? The matting can actually get bruised, it can get damaged, but it might not look like it from the outside, because the real bruising of a peach, you don't know how bad it is till you cut into it, right? But we don't want to cut into your roof. So when that hailstone hits your shingle, bruises it like a peach, then what happens, you get rain, you get freezing and thawing. And I know some, southern market, you're not going to have the freezing, so you can't say that. But you have these extreme temperature swings plus rain. So all those granules that were set on top there of the asphalt are going to start to loosen up. And then with rain, they wash away. So even though it may not look like hail damage right now, what I have seen happen is after some weather cycles, some temperature swings, freezing, thawing, and rain, you'll notice that that impact spot becomes more visible in time. That bruise has loosened them up. And the reason that the insurance company will cover the roof replacement is because after those granules shed out, the UV rays of the sun can directly hit the shingles, start to rot them out, start to dry them out. So what happens is that roof of yours that you paid for, because the roof is the most expensive maintenance and replacement cost of a home, period. Most expensive thing, is rated to last anywhere from 30 to 50 years. Okay. Well, you can change that 25 if you want. They have 3 tab, right? So 25 to 50 years. But what happens is when hail strikes that shingle and it bruises it, and those shingles start to shed away, you're going to see them coming down your downspouts. Now that 30 to 50 year roof is not going to last that long. So you are getting a replacement coverage for the sake that 10 years, 15 years, however bad the hail is, literally is shaving life off of it, which means you'll be financially responsible of replacing that roof when the lifespan is reduced. And another analogy that you can use, by the way, is cars. Imagine your car gets stolen from some kids in the neighborhood, and they go ripping around doing donuts. The insurance company might cover for any damage that occurs while that's stolen, because the tires that were rated for 40,000 miles when they were doing donuts, they might last for 5,000. You're going to want new tires, wouldn't you? Your roof is just like that. So, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, do you see why it's so important for us to give you a second opinion to either validate there is no damage or get a trained eye who knows what they're looking for? We'll take some photos for you, and then you can decide, and then you get to yes. Great. then we can ask for the inspection. So I've given you a lot of different angles. And yes, that was a long-winded objection handling technique. Why? Because I want to give you a variety of different angles to slice this. You have ask if there's photos. You can share the story. You can explain they have everything to gain and nothing to lose. You educate them that it takes a trained eye, draw them in, use the analogy of a peach, okay? Explain that hail damage shortens the lifespan of the roof. Explain that they will see because you want them to start paying attention. That granules may start coming out of the gutters. When you do this, when you educate them and you use any one of these tools, and the reason I want to give you more is not everyone's going to be receptive to a story. You might get the grumpy old man there who just wants you to cut right to the chase. And then you can say, listen, it takes a trained eye. I've been up off a roof with a gentleman just like you. And he said, Adam, my roof's fine. And I showed him that there was massive damage and it flipped the way he perceived it. Because we don't know what to look for because we don't have a trained eye. So now you have a whole arsenal of ways to approach this objection, which is we already had a contractor look at it. So Zach, thanks for reaching out for today. Guys, if you have any questions, drop it in the chat. Sometimes there are, sometimes there aren't. Either way, you now have a toolbox full of approaches to use to overcome this objection at the door. And this is another reason that I teach. By the way, if you didn't already see it, take a look at the video on my SLAP canvassing method. I put it up, I think it was on Tuesday, I want to say. I think it was this week, which stands for say hi, let them know why you're there, break the ice. Okay, let them know, say hi and break the ice. Let them know why you're there and make it familiar. We just left the neighbor's house, helping them get their roof approved, found damage on it. They're filing a claim, whatever it is. Okay. Ask an open-ended question. How has the insurance process been for you? And then P, present just to their answer. You know, what do you mean insurance process? We haven't filed a claim yet. Oh, I'm glad I'm here because I found a substantial amount of damage on Peggy's house. So it's a super, super simple method. And again, this is why we ask these open-ended questions and can help overcome this objection at the door. If they say this, by the way, when you ask that question, how's the insurance process been for you? And they say, we've already had a roofer look at it. Now, again, in the SLAP method, the P is present to their answer. You have a presentation here. Well, I'm glad I'm here. Did you see photos? Did you know that this has happened to other people? You have everything to gain and nothing to lose. By the way, did you know that hail damage is very difficult to spot with an untrained eye? Did you know that hail damage is actually more prevalent and more visible as time goes on, as those granules shed? So hope this helps, guys. Thanks for reaching out. Zach, thank you again. And Chris, thank you for submitting your questions. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any other objections, what are you facing in the field? Drop a comment or join the Insiders. There's a link in the description and share it with me. Let me know. You ask, I answer. That's what these lunchtime lives are for. Guys, thanks for joining me today. More good stuff coming. The new expanded and updated version of the Battle Pack is getting finished up today. I have some technology things to set it up to get delivered to you, but more details to come. Retail version coming very, very soon. And I am super pumped to be supporting your kick butt journey this year and have gotten some really exciting and fun success stories from you guys watching the channel, including an owner who reached out after a salesperson just started, watched videos, signed his first sale, and was ahead of his sales training that his company was providing. Owner reached out and she was super jazzed up and said, hey, whatever you're doing is working. I want what you guys have to offer. So it was a really fun conversation I got to have with a gal named Andy this morning. All right, let's see here. Josh says, it's only my second day and I'm on my third inspection for the day. Oh my gosh, I already inked 2 deals this week. I'm waiting on my sales manager to bring me a 2-story ladder to finish the inspection up. Dude, that is awesome. Josh, you are crushing it. This is great traction out of the gate. Love it. Thanks for everything. Thank you. And then Mustang Lover, thanks for your tips. You're awesome and been really helping me out greatly. Hey, my pleasure. Thank you all for being here. Have an awesome week. Remember, Saturday is hot day for sales. Go get it. Click the like button, the thumbs up if you dig the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and links to all my things can be found in the video description. Whatever it is that you do, just know 100% money back guarantee. I stand behind my stuff, guys, and I stand behind you hitting your income goals or growing your sales team. Be well. Have a great weekend. See you soon.